This just keeps getting better for the New England Patriots, as with a significant matchup this Sunday, facing off against the Buffalo Bills with a chance to win the AFC East. We got some great news from head coach Mike Vrable and a lot of injury updates from today's practice. We talk about it all here today on Patriots Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. We really do appreciate you tuning in to today's show and hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you might be. Now, before we get into today's show, I want to remind you to hit that subscribe button because we have been growing like absolute crazy here on Patriots Digest. We're posting content every day, and we're closing in on 2,500 subscribers. My goal is to hit that mark before the end of the month or the start of the new year, however you want to look at it. We are 250 or so subscribers away, so if you're looking for daily content of the New England Patriots, we got it for you right here. So go down there and hit that subscribe button. Best part about it, 100% free. As I mentioned, the Patriots and the Buffalo Bills will battle it out at 1 p.m. Eastern Time this upcoming Sunday in Gillette Stadium, with the Patriots having a shot to not only clinch a playoff spot with the win, but they'll also clinch the AFC East for the first time in 5 years. Now, obviously, there is a lot of excitement around this game, and in some ways, I'm very shocked that it was not flexed, at least to a 325 game, but ultimately, hey, it is what it is. Go out there, go win the game early in the morning, and we can have a great rest of our Sunday. But it's going to be a big game. And obviously with the bye week, the goal in it was to get healthy because injuries were certainly a problem prior to the bye. Well, guess what? That's exactly what the New England Patriots did this past bye week, as we have our first injury report since it, and we are getting healthier, which is a very, very good thing. Mike Vrable spoke to the media this morning, talked about what he expects from practice, and we now have our first official injury report of the Week 15 as well. Now, in total, there were 7 people on the injury report for the New England Patriots, and they've kind of had more in most of the weeks, as we hear from Alex Barth of 98.5 The Sports Sub, saying, quote, "Injuries were one of the major stories around the New England Patriots when the team entered their bye week. Coming out of the bye week, it looks like the time off was important for healing the team up." End quote. Now, as I mentioned, there were only 7 people on today's injury report, and only one of those did not participate in practice. The one guy who did not participate is Tyrell Jennings, who is in concussion protocol. It looks like it did sound like from Mike Vrable that if he does practice this week, it will be a limited facet, probably on Friday. I want to say that the potential is there for him to be active this upcoming Sunday when it's labeled as the concussion injury. But for a lot of reasons, I kind of do hope he is ready to go on Sunday, just because the Patriots, they're not thin at running back, but it's definitely very top heavy. As you can see here from Mike Reese, he said that Patriots are practicing on the lower field today as the new facility is under construction and they're preparing for the game. Now, we know that Tyrell Jennings was the lone player that was not spotted at the media facility, or the media portion of practice, I should say, and obviously he did not practice. Now, there are 2 running backs on the practice squad the Patriots could pull up, those being Craig Reynolds, who was recently signed, or D'Ernest Johnson. But the problem is for D'Ernest Johnson, he is out of elevations. If you don't know what that means, basically in the season, the New England Patriots / every NFL team can bring up a player off the practice squad 3 different times. After that 3rd time, they have to be signed to the active roster. So for Johnson, he's already been pulled up a couple times, whereas they would have to sign him to the roster. For Craig Reynolds, though, they can pull him up this game and not be forced to sign him. That being said, I think if Tyrell Jennings is unable to go, it will probably be Craig Reynolds rather than the option of having to sign D'Ernest Johnson, when in theory, Tyrell should be back within the week. Now, that, of course, was the non-participant. I mentioned there were 7 people. We had 1 non-participant. We had 3 in the limited participation zone. Defensive tackle Christian Barmore was on there. However, for Barmore's injury, it was not injury related. It was other reasons, personal reasons. He's had a couple of these. I think there might be something going on, but either way, was a limited participant today, strictly out of not injury related. Probably more of a rest day, I think, more than anything. For linebacker Harold Landry, he was also a limited participant. Landry is kind of an interesting spot. He's been a limited participant for a lot of the past 4 weeks. But the one that I want to focus on is offensive tackle Vederian Lowe. Now, the reason Vederian Lowe to me is important to this is the offensive line is already hurt. You kind of know what we see with Will Campbell. You know what you can have with the overall theme of the offensive line, and Ben Brown did not play good. But again, Vederian Lowe took over for Will Campbell at left tackle once he was placed on IR. So in theory, if Vederian is unable to play this Sunday, which a limited participation makes me believe he'll be fine, but they're going to have to then kind of go and figure it out. Now, the only other guard in theory they have is Thayer Munford Jr. I am hoping Vederian Lowe will be active just because Thayer has had very little NFL experience, especially as a starter, and I don't really want to do that. They just, in terms of, not guards, tackles, they don't really have much. They could put Marcus Bryant over there at left tackle. He has experience on both sides, so that could be a potential, but I'd rather not look at that. So that's kind of a big thing with that. In terms of the way that this whole outlook is for the Patriots on the offensive line, you have to look at Jared Wilson. And that's where a lot of the good news today comes from, because for Wilson, he was on the injury report. In fact, he was a guy who we saw a lot of, and ultimately he doesn't obviously work out for the game before the bye week against the New York Giants. And of course, the bye week hopefully made him healthy, and it did. He was a full participant at practice. Schooler, Karius Tonga, and Jared Wilson, who are all dealing with injuries, and all of them missed the last game against the New York Giants on Monday Night Football, were all active in a full participation zone today. Now, for this, it's obviously good news, because the offensive line, as I mentioned, was hurting, and you want to be able to really attack the game against the Buffalo Bills. You want to be able to have Drake Maye, who can hopefully go out there and produce the same similar type of game that he had against the Buffalo Bills the first time. And speaking of the first game, that's where you have to look at the running backs. And I talk about how the Patriots were very top-heavy. Well, they are. Rhamondre Stevenson has been honestly pretty okay this year, but his best game, he had 2 touchdowns against the Buffalo Bills. And in 10 games, he has 538 yards, averaging, of course, 53.8 yards per game. And he does have 20 receptions as well. Now, the expectation is, of course, that TreVeyon Henderson will have a much bigger role in this contest, given we didn't really see him at all in the first time these two opponents faced off. Obviously, that game against the Buffalo Bills, that was the game in which we had the torn ACL for Antonio Gibson Jr. I'm excited for this game. I'm obviously amped that we have, a lot of good things, but I am worried about the offensive line. And Vederian Lowe was a new part of this injury report. Alex Barth of 98.5, the Sports Hub saying, quote, 3 players were limited. Defensive tackle Christian Barrymore, Harold Landry have been on the injury report previously, while left tackle Vederian Lowe with an abdomen issue is a new addition. Lowe again started last week in place of Will Campbell, who was on IR with a knee injury. So with all this to be said, all of this is all in all good news. The expectation of seeing Jared Wilson as a full participant. I know that Harold Landry, even him just being a limited participant, makes me fully confident that he's going to be ready to go on Sunday. And that's a huge thing for the Patriots, just because in terms of the way he's been playing this season, it's been fantastic. He's actually been one of the best edge rushing linebackers in the entirety of the NFL. His overall PFF grade has him at 71.4, ranking him 39th out of over 100 edge rushers. But the big thing, 46 pressures this year. That's impressive. And for a signing that people just wrote off and said, oh, it's just Landry, it's Vrable's guy, he's not going to do much, he's been fantastic. In fact, through the first 3 weeks, he was arguably one of the best signings, and maybe even still now is one of the best signings the Patriots had all offseason. 17th out of 112 edge rushers in his pressures. 17th, while he's been banged up for basically the past 4 weeks. If he's out there healthy, man, you gotta feel good about the New England Patriots' chances. And, of course, we all know that Mike Vrable, he said it once, he said it twice, this team is a championship-level team. And he quoted this before the bye, saying that they're not satisfied. Champions are never satisfied. And coming off the bye, teams this year are 16-12, and guess what? They're going to have a chance to improve that record this upcoming Sunday as they face off against the Buffalo Bills with a chance to win the AFC East. We appreciate you watching, and man, go Pats. It's time to go out there and get that win. We'll get the extra injury report tomorrow, see if we can get some full participation from Vederian Lowe or Harold Landry, or if we'll get any update on Terrell Jennings as well. We appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time here on Patriots Digest. Peace out, everybody.